Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Game Pass Grab Bag, your weekly podcast reviewing games in the Game Pass collection, bringing you three new perspectives from varying skill range. I am the soccer rocker of this episode, Andrew. With me, the one who should take a penalty shot straight to the nuts, Keith.
Hello.
And with us, our bench warmer, Liz.
I'm actually the mascot.
Ooh.
Go sports!
And this week, Keith picked a game for us, which is Soccer Story by Panic Barn.
Yeah, thanks, Keith.
I'm going to read the description here. Soccer Story is a physics-driven adventure RPG where every problem can be solved with your trusty magic ball.
Physics?
That's I don't know. Soccer Story is, a top-down RPG sports game where you are playing one of the either male or female twin who is trying to bring soccer back to this world because soccer has been banned by the evil Soccer Incorporated because a great calamity happened, and for whatever reason they now own soccer. That's kind of the rough edge of the story. But Keith, tell everyone, was this a game or pass for you since you wanted us to play it?
Your tone right now.
I'm sorry.
Wow, this is sass week. Sass week. So I often have a category for games that people like to make fun of, where it's a game, it's just not for me. This game it's a pass, but it is for me. I don't have anything good to say about this game. All of the bad things that you're gonna say, I'm gonna go, yeah, pretty much.
Hey,
however,
I done Gamer Pass it. You
how
don't
many
know.
hours
However,
did you put into this game?
there is something about the gameplay that was stupid enough, and it hooked my attention, and I played it willingly. So I played it, and I did. I wouldn't vouch for it though. So it's like it's kind of a pass. Like I don't know. We'll talk.
So it's kind of like your Nickelback. Like nobody admits that they listen on Nickelback, but they've sold millions and millions of albums. So this is like your Nickelback game. But I just want to ask, like, if you're giving it a pass, how many hours did you put into this game?
I don't know I think as far as the gameplay goes, I think maybe 10 is maybe where it took me.
Can we look that up?
It's one of those things.
No, because Keith's recorded playtime is like a day and 7 hours.
Yeah, because it has a lot to do with what's it called?
So it's a pass.
Well, no, because that one day has a lot to do with the quick restart or whatever. Like tracks gameplay time weird. I probably fell asleep playing it a couple times.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that happened.
I don't think you could physically get a day worth of playtime into this game. I think there's enough to do.
There's multiplayer.
I suppose that might actually be kind of fun.
Liz, how about you?
It's a pass for me. I went from playing. So we're recording out of order because we're trying to get ahead for the holidays and stuff. And I was playing Mass Effect 2. Spoiler, that's what we're doing soon. And going from that to this was a little heartbreaking. I just, because I didn't finish Mass Effect 2 because it's a bit longer and I really just like wanted to do all of it. And then going to this, it was a bit of a downer. And I just want to say too, like, when you just mentioned like the physics with the game, I was just thinking that like in high school, I think that was the year that I got like all A's, and then I got like a D in physics. I don't understand physics. I have no understanding. It just like my brain doesn't work that way. It was all A's and then D. There was no helping me. No, it was a D plus, and so it counted.
Go Liz.
But it was just like everything else. It was like history. Not great at it, but like if you like study hard enough, you can get that A. English, Spanish, everything, and just that.
Is this why you're so clumsy? Because like you just like don't understand basic physics.
Maybe it's just science in general, but like once like I hear the word physics, I'm just like I'm out.
This is a hard pass for me.
This is rare. I feel like this is rare for you.
I'm trying not to be so mean to this game because I know people worked hard on it, but I hated this game.
But
I hated
did they with the story though? Did they work really hard on that storyline?
I hated this game so much. And Liz, I'm with you. Like, the thing that kept going through my mind, Keith, this was the game that distracted you from Deathloop. From Deathloop, I could understand if this was like Stardew Valley, Garden Story, like honestly, just about anything we've ever played on Game Pass. But Soccer Story.
Can I just say though that like Deathloop, it's really hard to get into. Like I actually like no. What I'm saying is like I started playing Deathloop. I was at the beginning and I had like the voice acting. There were a lot of things that drew me in, but it was like hard to get into. Like I found the beginning difficult. I tell you, I would rather just like crash and burn 1,000 times in Deathloop than play this game.
I said, I'm trying to be nice, and I won't try to be so mean. Let's just like F that.
Because it's like, and I mean, we'll get into it, but I mean, I don't hate this game, but I also just the entire time I was just. But by the way, I will put out there that I did not put as many hours as I usually do because I didn't know that we were recording tonight until today.
Yeah,
I didn't put as many hours in.
I mean, you didn't miss much.
Every time. Yeah, no, I feel like I played enough, you know? But, like, the entire time was just like, there's so many things I would rather be doing right now. I would rather be cleaning my house. Like, I'd rather be... And it's not, like, a really negative towards the game. It was just, it didn't give me anything. It was just kind of like, meh. It was like white bread, you know? It was like, I don't want to eat delicious.
No, this is like uncooked dough bread. Like, it's not even risen.
You say it's delicious. When's the last time you had white bread? Oh, I don't buy it.
Yeah, you don't buy it, but honestly, a white bread bologna sandwich. Like, bologna sandwich, I feel like, is the best on white bread.
Wonder bread bologna cheese.
Do you know what?
And bologna and cheese with, some really good fake cheese. Mm.
You know what? I was actually going to say that, Keith has some good taste. But if Keith thinks that sandwich is good and he thinks this game is good, no, never mind. That sandwich sucks.
Did I tell you how much I freaking love Deathloop?
Anyway, sorry. We started.
Are you giving it a pass?
I'm giving it a hard pass.
But wait, hold on. Are you talking bologna or fried bologna?
Oh, fried bologna is delicious. Always
because I'm like,
bologna.
What kind of bologna sandwich are you making? Which I gotta remember.
I'd rather talk about bologna sandwiches.
I don't think I've had bologna since I was a kid, and so like I remember what it tastes like, but it's probably been like
I can't remember. I don't think I've ever had a fried bologna, but a bologna sandwich.
Oh my gosh!
Is
you how many times did you have bologna sandwich and you never fried it? You never put it in a pan?
I'm sorry, I was like 8. Do you think my parents let me fry
cooking,
a bologna on the stove?
No, you hate cooking. That's the real reason.
I mean, that's true, too. So, let's finally get into this. So, the story, like I said, of Soccer Story. You first start off 1 year in the past. You're playing the final, the Apple Cup. The exciting Apple Cup. You score a goal, but calamity happens. You don't really see what it is. It just says calamity happens, and everything's destroyed, and nobody wants to play soccer anymore. They're not allowed. It didn't really make much sense, but this company comes in called Soccer Incorporated, and they now own soccer, and soccer's banned. But you pick one of the two twins that you play as, and a magical ball crashes through your window, and you say, I'm bringing soccer back, baby. And you find that magical ball, and you kick it around and convince people to play soccer again until the end when you win the Apple Cup.
You're like the Pied Piper of soccer.
I just don't.
You go around showing people the glory of soccer through all of your.
You go, hey everyone, here's my magical ball.
Let me
kick it.
I don't want to be mean, but the only thing that can describe that storyline is dumb. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's kind of like you think like, is this for little kids? Like, for me, it's like, well, maybe it is. I don't know.
So no, okay. You make a good point. This is actually, I forgot to bring this up during my my Pat segment is why. I legitimately don't know who I could recommend this game to. Because I can't recommend it to sports fans because the sports mechanics is awful. I can't quite recommend it to a younger audience, maybe young teen audience, because some of the stuff you do is so hard. The mini games are really hard and frustrating that even me, who play a lot of video games, like I was like, I am sick of this, but I have to do it because like you can't progress the story. So I have a very hard time really recommending who is this for. So Keith, who do you think this is for? Because it's obviously not for you.
See, but I didn't pass because. The thing is I played it.
Okay, no, you need to say if it's a game or a pass. Because, like, at the end of, do you know what? No, because I want to say real quick. Because at the end of the year, I do my review and stuff. I was trying to figure out what the heck you were saying with Forza when you gave it that S1 score. And then you were like 920. I'm like, does that mean 92? Like, no, it's a game or a pass. For my sake, Keith. Like, I don't know. Like, are you even speaking English right now?
No, I am. Because it's just... Like I didn't have a miserable experience playing this the way that either of you did. I
didn't say miserable.
No,
I said
you're both miserable.
I said miserable.
You're both miserable. And the thing is I'm not gonna be on trial here. I'm not gonna defend it because I know there's
this is the episode where we blast you, Keith.
You can't defend if you don't have a platform. You're saying it's not really a pass, but it is a pass.
There's nothing I can really offer to say, hey, this is why you should play this game. I didn't hate it, though. I actually kind of enjoyed my time with it. And sure. But the ultimate thing is that the story is stupid. It's stupid. It's so stupid. I mean, I don't know. I don't care about it anyway. So okay, big whoop-de-doo. The story's stupid. Although, did you catch at the beginning? I was very confused right away because. First of all, if you're going to blast the story, blast it correctly. It was your father who scored the goal that caused the calamity, not you. You're just picking up where he left off. You said you scored the goal. Not true. Blast the story correctly, please.
I meant you as the player.
Either
scored
way,
the goal.
Blast it correctly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you are playing that game.
Yes.
So anywho, the calamity happens, but they say the calamity happened 1 year ago, but then they're all like, I haven't played soccer in years. It's like, well, has it been 1 year or like multiple years? Anyways, the story stunk. Just stunk out loud.
Did the dad die or did he leave? Like,
oh my gosh, this is what
are we doing a spoiler cast for Soccer Story?
Yes. Well, this is not a spoiler.
Can I just say,
I am going to.
No, but can I just say real quick that I was reading that like a very small percentage of people finish this game. Anybody who's listening, like, are they going to be in that small percentage? Because I think spoilers are okay. Because most people don't finish the game.
No, because I'm going to do spoilers. Because, like I said, I'm trying not to be mean, but I am going to explain why I did not like this story. So yes, you start off in the past where you're playing the World Cup. You kick the goal.
Apple Cup.
Explosion happens. And and people just disappear. Are people dead? And where did this soccer ink come from? They're just like, a calamity happened. Okay, well, what does that mean? Like, that's kind of a broad word. But people are missing. And then your father's gone. And so you're playing as one of the kids. And you talk to your mom and she's like, your father's been gone for a year. He's not coming back. Are they accepting he's dead? Do they know he's kidnapped? Do they think he just became a deadbeat dad and left? And then not only that, it's also not really talked about. It was a quick thing of your dad's been gone for a year. And it's not something that's really brought up anymore. So if you kind of miss that segment, you kind of forget this whole story is about your missing dad. And you're trying to go around, bring soccer back to people. Like you said, Keith, people are like, I haven't played soccer in years. And it's like, okay. But also, why aren't people playing soccer? Because you get the soccer ball, you're kicking it around, and
kill you, arrest you?
Yeah, don't talk about soccer because of soccer ink. But they don't do anything. They're just like, oh, someone has a ball. We're going to try to thwart him, but not really thwart you.
And when they get rid of the nets?
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. But wait, where's the spoiler? What happened to the dad?
Well, you go to the end, and he's kidnapped. And you're like, Dad, I miss you. He's like, I'm the one who's been trying to help you. It's like, how have you been trying to help me?
He sent you the magical soccer ball.
Where did that come from? How did he have a magical soccer ball that he randomly, after 1 year, you could have sent the soccer ball, I don't know, 11 months ago, 12 months ago,
How long
10
was
months
Tony
ago?
Stark in a cave before he came up with Iron Man? I'm just saying.
He had to craft a soccer ball.
Why are you competing against elderly and toddlers?
Yeah,
and then you're all
toddlers.
crying?
That was kind of funny.
I can understand why the toddlers would cry. Even though, like, I mean, like, it's just weird seeing it, and then everybody cries.
Yeah.
Soccer
But
is for
How small is
everybody,
that community?
Liz. That's the point.
There's more picking apart of this story. All right, the pros about the story, I at least like kind of the nods. So the guy, the main evil bad guy of Soccer Inc., his name is like Jeb Setter or something like that, which is a play on the old FIFA president Seb Blatter, which is like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Did you say Blatter?
Yeah, that's his name. Blatter. B-L-A-T-T-R.
That's unfortunate.
I know. Could you imagine if you were Dr. Blatter and you were in nephrology, so you dealt with urine? Anyway.
I like the picture, though, when you're saying that. He's like...
Yeah. But then they also have, like, one of the people is this Mr. Beach, which is supposed to be kind of a play on of Mr. Beast, because he does YouTube videos and stuff. So something that's like, oh, that's kind of funny. Like, there's some moments that are kind of like, but nothing really made me laugh. Like, yeah, the first team you go against is the toddlers, so you're slide kicking toddlers. That's kind of funny. But it's like, but then that's it. You're also in this world that's so lifeless. There's literally one house, your house. There's all these people, but apparently no one has a house.
How old are you, by the way? Because your mom is
say.
totally fine with you doing something that's supposedly
Illegal. Yeah, there's no police. So, Soccer Inc. isn't really imprisoning. Well, they're imprisoning your dad, which... Another thing that really irritated me was the ending. Spoiler alerts are here, sorry. When you win the soccer cup, Seb Blatter Jatter or whatever his name is like, oh, no one wants to play soccer with me. And you're like, I'll play soccer with you. Soccer's for everyone. And everyone just literally jumps around and it's like the end.
The bad guy that imprisoned people?
Yeah, I'm sorry. This guy captured your dad for a year and is literally either killed people, because I can't quite tell if the calamity kills people, but... Yeah, let's all forgive him and play soccer.
So,
it's like, no.
I'm sorry.
That
That has knocked me so many points off my score.
In what way? So dumb. I understand this is meant to be kind of a commentary to FIFA.
It's like the Grinch, right? Like the Grinch. Kids made fun of him. If we're talking about the live action one, they made fun of him. And he grew up to hate Christmas because of the Who's. And he was just really misunderstood. He just needed to be loved.
No, but there are people who go through way worse and end up fine. At some point, you need to reflect on yourself.
Well, the Grinch didn't hate Christmas. The Grinch hated people. And
yes.
I actually agree with him. So
yeah.
Hey, no, but then they showed him a little bit of love, and then he understood that the meaning of Christmas wasn't about presents; it was about family and love, and everything was okay. I'm just saying that's all this guy needed.
No, he needed a therapist. Actually, it sounds
he kidnapped your dad for a year. You're gonna go. I'm gonna play soccer with my dad's kidnapper. Oh boy!
How many people did he kidnap?
3 square meals a day. A roof
no,
over his head.
because if you think about how many people he kidnapped,
that's actually true,
and how many years, how much prison time he would serve. I'm sorry, no, lock him up.
Yeah, because technically he kidnaps Zen Zone, that entire area. He cuts off.
No, they closed themselves off because they thought that they were under attack. They did it themselves.
Yeah, they were under attack by Soccer Inc.
They were not under
Keith, you're saying it's okay to kidnap people as long as you enjoy soccer after. I don't think you can really say anything right now.
I don't see where the issue is.
With kidnapping?
Liz, I don't know. I don't know how I can explain
I
it
don't
to
think you know anything. You don't know if it's a game or pass. You don't know if kidnapping is wrong. I think you need to reevaluate things.
Soccer's important.
I mean, then there's the small side story.
How much soccer do you watch, Keith?
I played soccer before.
Oh my gosh, that's actually how we met, right?
Mm-hmm.
And clearly you didn't like it because you don't watch it.
In school, and then we also played soccer.
I mean, I think I personally met you from intramural soccer back in elementary school.
Or because I was friends with your brother, and I came over your house, so I was, at your house.
Possibly, that's true too.
Wait, so you like soccer enough to play it, but not to watch it? Why don't you guys just play football? I know you guys both watch football.
Have you seen me?
Why do you watch Walker Texas Ranger? Why don't you go out and fight crime and punch people?
Listen, if I have the bone structure of an 80-year-old, I would.
Why are you coming at me with these things?
I brought you into it when it was really directed at
Liz
Keith.
is fired up right now.
But you don't even bring up Walker Texas Ranger like that in a negative way.
I'm not bringing it up in a negative way. I'm just throwing your insult back at you.
I seriously, like, I actually, you really did want to be a police officer when I was growing up.
I know.
But did you want to be a soccer player?
No. My mom made me go outside, so I picked intramural soccer.
It's a lot of running. There's other sports.
That's why I don't do it anymore. That's why I only did it in elementary school.
I feel like going into gameplay, I feel like this is the biggest hang up I have with the game. So they teach you aiming and like different like strengths with your aiming and stuff like that. And then you get to a flippin' match and you can't use any of it. The first time I used the match, outside of like the very beginning, I was trying to aim so much. And I was like, why isn't this working? I was like Googling it, couldn't figure it out. Turns out you just don't use any techniques that you learn along the way in the matches, which is supposed to be like the important part of the game. So I was just like, why am I even freaking doing this?
You can curve your shot in game and aim it.
No, I'm talking about like when you when you use the R stick, the right stick.
Yeah,
you don't use that.
But you don't use it in the soccer gameplay, but you use it in the game constantly.
And that's what she's saying.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, why you're learning these things and you're upgrading. You can't use them in the soccer matches when you're supposed. Like, they actually said, like, oh, this is important for learning for soccer, and then you get to the soccer match and you can't do it. They make it seem like you're going to. Yeah. And so I kept trying, and like, it's my race stick like isn't working right now. It doesn't make sense.
So to explain real quick to our listeners who haven't played Soccer Story, there's essentially two gameplay elements. There's the open world aspect and then the soccer game aspect. The open world aspect, you summon your magic ball, you kick targets, you slide into people, you do various quests going around, try to convince people to play soccer with you. And then you get into the matches, and that's where it's essentially, that's where you actually play the soccer game and, press A to pass, X to shoot, it's 2 teams of 5 and whoever scores the most goals win, typical kind of soccer. Well, not really, because we'll get into the rules of that. But yeah, as Liz is saying, in the open world aspect, they're like, hey, this is how you aim a ball and shoot targets with the right stick, and you have a reticle that shows you where your ball's going. It's really important during a soccer match, but you don't get that mechanic in a soccer match. You do get to curve your ball. That is something they teach you in the real world that you actually can play in the game.
No, but it's true.
It sucks.
The one thing that I read online that people were really frustrated with, like I played on easy because I just wanted to get to the game. And it's super easy to win. And then you go to medium and all of a sudden they block every single time.
Did you try dabbling on hard?
No.
I did once and I was like, this is awful.
But like for me, it's like, how can you have different difficulties if you're using the same mechanics with every difficulty and it's just luck?
Yeah. I hated the soccer games. I hated the
Keith, tell me what was great about it.
I don't know. So many. This isn't realistic. Like we can't suspend a little bit of disbelief here for a video game because we just played Deathloop and
what happens when you?
It's not a very realistic soccer game. It doesn't do this. No kidding. It's a stupid adventure game with a magic ball. Is it good? No, it's not that good. It's really not. I'm not saying that, but I just don't. I don't understand the hatred for it because I don't think it's that bad. It's just
Keith.
Bland at worst.
What happens in real soccer if you tie?
You go to overtime typically.
You don't automatically lose, right? So this is like a lot of people online were upset because I don't know if this is true, but was it an American company that created this game?
No, they're from England.
Are you serious? Yeah. Everyone online thought that Americans made this because they were like, "Oh, you automatically lose with the
Panic Barn is from London."
Wow! So you're telling me that this
people thought Americans made this
2D soccer game that plays with 5 people instead of 11 on 11 doesn't follow the exact rules? Wow! Somebody write to FIFA. Let them know that someone they're blaspheming soccer in such a way that they don't follow the exact rules. It is an arcade soccer game at best.
Wait, no.
I'm just saying.
This game is about soccer, though, right?
I don't
It's
care.
not secondary?
Do you know how many times I tied a match? Like, once. And it was because I needed the achievement. And I played on medium. It wasn't that hard. Now the thing is it
Good
really
job,
wasn't
Keith.
that hard because because basically you could cheese it. You could literally you didn't pass it. You just don't pass. You just shoot.
Keith, I'm curious. What was your favorite part of the gameplay?
So as far as the gameplay, I think probably it would have to be the actual soccer matches, which I know is strange because they're admittedly not very good, and much of the game isn't that much to be desired. It all falls a little bit bland. Like I think there could have been a lot of improvements to the way that they had the soccer matches, different skills, the teams and players, everyone just did the same thing. So it just didn't feel different enough that it was great, but I still thought that was the most fun, and I wanted more of that and less of the tasks and kind of running around just doing chores.
Yeah, that's a great word. I felt like everything I was doing was a chore.
But that's the thing, like when it comes to the actual like soccer matches, I felt like that was more of a chore because
Yes.
I felt like it was kind of dumbing down the entire game, but at the same time, like the little like mini things, the side quest, I felt like I was just running around. I didn't really feel like I was accomplishing anything.
Yeah. Oh, I feel the exact same way. I hated the soccer matches. To me, they were the least favorite thing about this. So, like, yes, this, as you said, Keith, this is like an arcade soccer game, which I will say at first I liked because it actually made me a little bit reminiscent of like NFL Blitz, where like you had the game, there's no penalties. You kind of can just do whatever the heck you want. And so like first it's like, oh, this is kind of fun because like that's what I love about NFL Blitz, of just like you literally can like pile drive players and you don't get in trouble for it. But yeah, and so in this you're sidekicking toddlers, but it got so boring so quick because as you said, nothing changes. Eventually you get some special abilities that don't mix up the gameplay at all. And I understand it's arcade, like as you were saying earlier, but like there's a certain point where it's arcade and then it's just completely not soccer. Because, like, if you get a tie, normally in a soccer game, what happens when you get a tie? You either go to overtime or you do penalty kicks. Not in this game. Nope, you lose. You just lose.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's just such a weird thing to hang your hat on, to be like, oh, it doesn't feel real because of that. Because, yeah, the goal of it is to win the cup. And yes, I get it. It could just do an overtime thing. And quite frankly, I also, it irritated me when you lost, that it was like, all right, well, come meet me back at the office. Yeah. And then all it was just, but that was it was a bad like mechanic situation of the game. Like that wasn't about bad storytelling. That was just a bad way that they had to, I don't know why they had to, because I am not a programmer, but you could tell it was just a weird programming thing where it was like it had to reset the cycle that way. It couldn't just reset it on the spot. It was bad.
I hated that.
It was a bad
go to my
quality of life
office
thing.
And now go back to the field. It's like,
but
no,
I genuinely didn't care that a draw was a tie, because again, I just and this isn't a like, oh, I'm so good. It's just I genuinely didn't find the matches that hard, and I didn't struggle with winning or tying them enough that I was bothered by the ties like being a thing. Because yeah, there's no yellow cards either. Like, so it's not. I don't know. It's a weird thing to get angry about as far as the choices that they make.
Oh, I didn't care because I didn't think the matches were hard. I cared because the matches were too long. I didn't want to play it again. That was my issue. If I lost, I'm like, this sucks. I got to do it again. So I first was playing on medium, and then once I saw there was no achievement to beat the game on hard or medium or anything, I said, screw this. I'm putting it to easy. I'm just going to breeze through this. And playing on easy is very easy. Playing on medium is pretty difficult because the other thing that's frustrating is like the AI is so incredibly inconsistent. Drove me bonkers. Like their goalie can block almost every hit you're kicking because you can't properly aim, as Liz was saying. You don't have that mechanic. But your goalie can't block a ball that's going like 2 miles an hour. He just jumps like over it. Even when I'm fully upgraded, I'm like, this guy is awful. And you can't control the goalie either. No. The AI does.
I mean, unless you're kicking the ball back to your teammates.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, like, this is why it just, like, I feel like it is kind of a waste. I felt every time I was doing an actual soccer match, I felt like I was wasting my time. And
too.
same with like I accidentally entered into a volleyball match that felt like it lasted 30 minutes. There was no indicator of when it would end, and I just forced quit out of my game because I was like, it feels like it's been an eternity and I'm done.
Gosh, the volleyball.
And then so for me, it's just like, if there's not going to be any fun elements of the soccer matches, and there's not going to be any accurate elements of the soccer matches, it is a waste of my time. I don't want to play it. Like, put some effort into either the fun factor or the accuracy factor. Because for me, it just felt like luck. And I don't like playing games by luck. I don't like gambling. I don't like any of that. So for me, it's just like, I don't understand what they were thinking with the actual matches. Like, what were they thinking that people would be drawn to?
Very good point. That's exactly how I felt. I just felt like it was luck. And like, cause like there's like, so as we said, there's an RPG element to this game where you get these tokens where you can upgrade your characters. You know, you have 5 people on your team. You can upgrade, you know, their speed, their energy, their kicking, and then their strength, like how quick they recover from a slide tackle. I didn't notice much of a difference from upgrading besides kicking. Cause obviously with kicking, that was more helpful with you in the open world aspect. But did you guys notice much when you were upgrading your characters?
No, not at all.
I mean, in certain ways, yeah. Like on the match side of things, yeah. Just because you could power up the shots more, you had like better speed to actually move around.
This on medium or easy?
A medium.
Oh, okay. Because easy, there's no difference.
Yeah.
As far as everything else goes, I mean, technically yes, because again, or I guess mostly just on the shot power because you can hit higher targets.
Yeah, like in the open world aspect, but
that's what I'm saying. In the open, so I'm saying in the two aspects. So like in the soccer aspect, I noticed it more than in the open world. In the open world, that was about really it. And the thing about the open world too, and I know I use the word chores, and it really kind of is chores. The thing about the gameplay on this one, and I skipped a ton of it because almost kind of like you did, Andrew, with the difficulty, I kind of quickly realized that a lot of it didn't hinge on achievements. So I quickly just kind of went, if this is just too difficult or I don't feel like doing it, I'm just not going to do that task, and I'm going to go find one of the countless others that there are to do. So I tried the volleyball one time and I went, oh, this is kind of hard, kind of boring.
I hated the volleyball.
Yeah, I did it one time.
It wasn't that it was hard. It was like the game cheated because there were times where you were completely under the ball. And so that's when I lost all respect of the game. Yeah. Where it's if you're not even going to be accurate with where I am placed on it, like that is 100% a waste of time.
Don't worry, Liz. We'll get into the glitch.
The volleyball thing was like, that was when I was just like, I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, the volleyball thing, like I said, I mean, I just straight up didn't bother trying it because it just wasn't worth my time. I don't even know if it didn't work properly because I just didn't try it long enough. But what it did in a lot of ways was it had one of those elements where I'd go into an area and I'd get my 5 tasks, and it would be collect this many of this thing, this many of this thing, and this many of this thing. And by the time that I collected all 6 of the first thing, well, I'd already collected 4 out of the 7 of the other things and 5 out of the 10 of the others. So it's like, I'll just collect the other 3. And then by the time I collected the other 3, well, now I'm at like 8 of 10. So now I might as well do that. And then now I've actually unlocked the cup. So now I'm going to go ahead and continue with the cup. It just had those small little incremental things that whether or not it was like, oh, wow, this is great. Oh, this is exciting. It was easy to just do one more thing, do one more thing, do one more thing. And that's what kept me going. It kept me playing it more than anything.
See, I disagree. For me, it made me go, why the heck am I doing this? Because the other thing that irritated me was the inconsistency of the rewards. So, as I said, you get tokens to upgrade your characters, but that's a lot of times in the quest, you don't even get a token. They're just like, here's 1 coin, and you need 10 coins to just buy a token. And so I'm like, I just wasted like 15 minutes to get a single coin. Like, this is stupid. Like, why the heck did I do that? So for me, like the reward was just so inconsistent that I didn't care. If maybe I had more options to maybe unlock new teammates, even cosmetics maybe, I think I'd maybe be drawn to some of these things, these tasks.
I was expecting new teammates to be an unlockable thing. Like when they talked about the animals.
I want to get rid of Grandpa. Why do I have Grandpa on my team?
That's where I go back to. Like I was expecting more dynamic character sets of like, okay, like maybe the panda is better at defense as a goalie, but he's a little bit slower. And then you could get like, I thought like the squirrel that you meet immediately that you need to get, you're going around collecting acorns for him. Like you could maybe have the squirrel, and the squirrel's faster, but you know what I mean? Like I thought there was going to be more of that, and it was a miss, because that was an opportunity to really make this feel more RPG-ish, and so yeah, it fell flat there.
This reminds me of another story element. What was the whole big deal? Like when you're forming your team, the guy's like, you need an animal captain. Like it has to be an animal captain. But a lot of teams you're going against don't have an animal captain. And when you played the beginning of the game, yeah, you're playing your dad with all animal captains. So they made it seem like, oh, you need to collect these animal captains. They need to be on your team. But like, what was the point of them? You convinced them to play soccer. You beat them in a soccer match, and it was like, okay, like what was the point?
Yeah, they didn't really give any good reason.
That. I hated that. Was there any of the open world tasks that you guys enjoyed? Was there a game that you played, you're like, this is fun?
The golf one could have been fun. I
agree. That one I thought
it had some potential, and it didn't even bother me. Probably that one, because a lot of the other ones were just hitting targets in different ways.
I mean, I'm trying to think, because like I said, I didn't know recording night. I didn't play as much as you guys did, but I can't think of anything that I was actually excited about. I thought like some of the things were just kind of like dark. Like there was that one at the beach that was dark, where it was just like you had to get the tourists to eat the ice cream. One of the women was like, "Oh, yeah, make sure sharks don't eat the children." And it's just like, okay. Then you're like,
save children.
Someone was knocked over the head from a coconut, and you have to do the coconuts, and it's just like, I understood, like it just felt like fluff to me.
That's a perfect word.
There 100% was, and that was one of my biggest gripes. Is that there was a lot of the side missions that you'd have to do it multiple times, but there was no reason for it. Like the golf one, even, and that was the one I liked. So I know it was. I got like, I don't know, -2 on my first thing, but it didn't matter, because then I had to, you know, the first par score you have to beat is like even, and then, or, you know, 1, and then even, and then -1. So even though I had better than -1 at one point, that score didn't matter. I had to do it a third time. And or like the mushrooms, which again, it did this cool, or it tried to do this fun little like, hey, you're gonna do a it's called,
it was like Final Fantasy, like turn-based RPG.
Yeah, there you go. Like combat. A little turn-based combat. But that turn-based combat was one pattern that you had to enter in 3 times. It didn't change, and it was annoying.
And you can't back out of it too.
Yeah, it failed. Like it was really irritating, because it was like, what was the point of entering this 3 times other than just to add more time to me to do it? So, like, it's things like that I wholeheartedly, again, I agree. The game was not great in these aspects, but I don't know. It wasn't things like that made me hate it. I just went, that was kind of irritating, and it was few and far between, I guess.
I will say the one task I actually thought was kind of fun and unique was the hidden goals. Scattered throughout the world, you'll see like a little golden cat, and it's kind of giving you a hint that you got to kick a ball between like 2 random objects.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like an invisible goal. I actually thought that was kind of interesting. To me, that was kind of like playing Where's Waldo. And actually, I thought that was actually kind of fun. You know, and it was simple. It got me a gold coin every time I did it. And I was like, okay. But like all the other jobs, like you were saying, Keith, I hated where it's like, hey, you got to do this task 3 times. Like even if you did an incredible run, or that golf game, like, oh, you maybe got par in every single hole. No. You got to do that 3 times. You only won that first prize the first time. Now you got to do it again. And it's just, I hated that so much. I was so sick of it. And I got sick of the constant gameplay loop of, I'm in a new area. I have to convince one team to play with me in a kind of recreational game. You convince that team. Cool. Now the owner wants you to convince another team, and you got to do another task for them. And he'll convince a random team that you won't get to see. So they kind of throw in a random name. The Lumberjacks, the Basket Weavers. You don't get to see them, so let's not worry about them. And it's so copied and pasted at each region that it was so... I'm going to use the word Liz uses a lot. I found it insulting. It was just like, you guys couldn't like mix it up slightly. It was just, it's the same thing every region.
I mean, I feel like, at the very beginning, I realized that the story was kind of hot garbage.
That's nasty.
Which is, I mean, I'm being blunt. But for me, the side quests and stuff, it's like you could have added some interesting stories.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, about the dad, like look for information with like finding him or something. Point. So for me, like, I just felt like the story, like that definitely was not the main purpose of the game. And so for me, like all the side quests and stuff, it's just like make it a bit more meaningful if the game isn't meaningful, like the story isn't meaningful.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of wished where it's just like if the side quest actually had something that like drew me in like that, because I'm a sucker for a story.
Yeah.
So
me too.
like I said earlier, like I was playing Mass Effect and there were all these like side quests that I was so excited to play because I wanted to learn more about the characters.
Then soccer story.
But and then it's just like you're in like having all these new characters come at you and it's just like, oh, you're just there. You're just a player. So for me, I think that's what really just like, I don't know. Because I can see like, there are a lot of games like this that I've gotten sucked into that, like, no offense, were just like better.
That's nasty.
You know what I mean? But like, that's why I'm just like, I can't imagine beating this game. Like, I can't imagine just sitting there and playing, like, no offense, Andrew. We're just like, there's so many better things that I could think of to do with so many games that like you have such a short amount of time to play games like throughout the week that like when it comes to listeners and stuff, it's just I feel like we could all list so many games that are better. Yeah. So I mean, you had to play it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you didn't have to beat it though, technically.
No, I didn't. But we'll get into it. But the one thing that kept me going was the achievements. Which,
okay.
We'll get into that segment. But yeah, I wish there was more on the gameplay. So, as I said, too, this game does have multiplayer, but not online multiplayer. So, only couch co-op. Would you actually be interested in playing that, Keith?
If I could do it, I think it would be kind of fun for a few matches. But because there's no individual skills or like varying moves, anything like that, it wouldn't. But if it had that, then yeah. But obviously it doesn't. So I guess the actual answer to your question is no, not really.
To me, like what this game like really felt like was like an old school web flash game, where it was like, hey, we have this mini game of soccer, but here's some kind of fluff of an open world that you're doing. It just didn't feel like fleshed out with its gameplay on that.
I also think too, like there's so many like pixelated games out there. And for me, it's like, if you're going to do a pixelated game, you got to have more than fluff. And because there's so many out there. And so for me, it just like, graphically, I feel like it was like, when I think of pixelated, I feel like this is a step above it. It kind of had that like Lego vibe to it.
Yeah, it's voxel is the phrase you're looking for. That's the art style.
Really? I've never heard that phrase.
The environment is voxel, but your character are like 8-bit.
Okay. But I still think that if you're going to go that route, you need to have either a good story or like really like suspenseful elements or just better gameplay. Because for me, it's like that also kind of made me not want to play it anymore. Where it's just like, this is another thing that isn't working for me. Where it's like, if this game was like, it's
Voxel.
Yeah. If you're going to do voxel, you got to have something going with it. Like, that's just, I mean, not to be rude, but...
I mean, I agree with you. Like, because I feel like we played a really good-looking voxel game. Do you remember The Tourist?
That's exactly what I was thinking of, like the Lego element. That's what I thought it was.
That was voxel.
That just seems like a different element, like a different thing altogether, because it was so beautiful to look at.
Yeah, which I think the environments, the design of it, is pretty, because I think voxel art is nice looking. The 8-bit sprite characters I didn't really care for. I think it was you, Liz, who mentioned like anytime someone scores or something, like your character cries like a baby.
If like someone beats you, yeah. If someone scores against you,
yeah, it's kind of weird. But I think overall the environments weren't very distinct.
I also think too, like when the crying, it should have just been the toddlers. Like it's just kind of embarrassing after that act. But like,
it's supposed to be adults.
But this is another thing that you're talking about. Like The Tourist is the same, like graphically the same genre. And they do it better. It's like, what does this game excel at if it's not even it's not graphics so far, gameplay, story. Like
Achievements?
not to be negative. I mean, yeah. But I did overall like the graphics, but I just think with pixel art, it's just not my favorite. And it's just like, I also think too from like what I've seen on, it's like, is this a big studio?
No.
Because I feel like a lot of small studios do like voxel or pixel, whatever, and it's like, I understand why, but you know, you gotta put the money somewhere.
That's nasty.
Okay, I'll stop being rude.
I thought the areas were all distinct, at least in terms of they all had their own vibe to their little biome that they were. They weren't.
They have a vibe, but I just
But
didn't
it's
think
hard to like misrepresent a beach to like the woods, you know. I mean,
Good point.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I won't argue
pretty
that,
easy.
but I mean, we've seen games that things just kind of blend into grays and dark colors because the overall environment is, no matter what they try to do with it. So it can happen, but you're not wrong. But I just, as far as it goes, I'm not, because again, I'm not going to say like, oh, they were beautiful. It was, I still think, because I don't know, the whole, like, I don't feel like it compares to The Tourist, and not even because obviously The Tourist was a lot better, but the actual 3D-ness, like, you actually had control over the camera a lot more in The Tourist. Like,
Yeah,
it
this one's
felt
a
like more
fixed
like
camera.
Mario type of 3D. And so it was, I don't know, it was similar but different. But all that to say, anyways, is I mean, I don't know. I thought the graphics were fine. I think you nailed it though, Andrew. Is you compared it to a Flash game, and that it was something that was kind of thrown together. And if you remember me and Flash games, I would get sucked into those things and play the dumbest Flash games.
And get so angry at him too.
But it would be. But this is exactly the type of game that you would have found me sitting on my laptop for probably 4 hours at a time playing for no good reason. I couldn't tell you then why I was enjoying it or what I was doing, but I would, and I would. There's something really. I think I've said it before. It's almost why I like roguelikes. It's like I like the quick satisfaction of the kind of fluff into a game. Now, generally, a good roguelike is a lot more than fluff, obviously, but it's still just that, like, the quick satisfaction of the games, and I there's something about it that draws me in and hooks me, whether or not I even like it, because I can't tell you what I liked, because I don't think I liked anything about Soccer Story. I think I just played it, and I just found it easy to play.
But like, quick satisfaction. Like, I never got any
Yeah,
satisfaction.
I was going to say the same
like,
thing.
I'm not like.
To me, I was like, this is too long.
When you said that, I was just like, I don't understand that at all. But I also, in general, because like I'm starting to go through like all the games you played for like the year in review, if we do it. And I say if we do it, we always do it. But so I'm starting to go through that, and I'm looking, like, listening to some of the audio for the games, and I'm just like, I don't understand Keith. I don't understand the games he plays. Like, there are games that, like, I just think are phenomenal. He's just like, yeah, like, I didn't really get into it. Like, I didn't play much because I don't really like it. And then there's a game like this, and I'm just like, I just want to know, like, how your brain works sometimes.
So it's funny, we were starting this game, me and Keith were kind of picking, we're like, we figured you were going to be the person that either loves this game like Keith or really hate it like me. Because, like, you never played a sports game. So that's why Keith was like, hey, this might be, like, kind of an introduction to a sports game for Liz.
But I wanted more of the sports element, though. That's why I was, like, kind of, like, bummed out about it. Because it's like, I don't mind playing a sports game, but I felt like it was just, like, it wasn't really a sports game.
Yeah.
I was going to say dumb down again, but I was like, let's be nice, Liz. But no, I really didn't even feel like a sports game to me at all.
But I want to go back real quick, too, because I thought this because I wanted to ask Keith this question. Another thing I hated, it was my least favorite thing about this game, is the one-on-one matches. Like, you can adjust the difficulty of games, but you can't adjust the time. Why are one-on-one matches 3 minutes long?
Volleyball.
Way too long.
All of the things are long.
Yeah. Well, the volleyball didn't have a timer on it. But, like, if I was winning, I would literally run in a circle because I'm like, if I score, it stops the time. I don't want that. I'm just going to keep going around in a circle. But I wanted to ask you, Keith. So I'm assuming you became the one-on-one champion, right?
Yeah.
I hated that segment. Way too many one-on-one games. But at the end, the guy's like, "I'll give you my teleporter." Could you use it? I got it, and I still didn't know how to teleport. I could only teleport home like I could the entire game.
I kind of figured that. That was sort of my assumption that it was like a twofold thing, because you had to like get the key and the teleporter before you could go and unlock the shed. Like, I took it as just like the last piece.
You had to like be a 101 champion, because I thought it was optional. I just did it for the achievement.
Yeah, I thought it was like a requirement of the story, quite honestly. I mean, I did it for the achievement too, but I just assumed it was a requirement. Again, I didn't ask a lot of questions. There wasn't a lot of questions.
All right, but
Wait, can I just ask real quick? How do you end the volleyball match then?
you have to score. It's the first to 4 or first to 5.
Something like that. I
just-
just
you know,
stopped trying and I let it end, and then I walked away.
I couldn't get it to end. I don't know if it's a glitch or not, but I hit every single button imaginable, and it would not let me end it. And so, like, I kept winning and losing and winning, losing, and it was going on for so long. That's why I forced quit. I couldn't figure out how do you. So you guys don't remember how to end it?
It was like first to 5. That was it. There was no timer on it, so just whoever lost.
Yeah.
That can't be right.
Yeah.
There was a bug on mine then, because there was no way. I was playing for so long.
Maybe
So I
it had like
go
a
back
win
on
by
it.
2 or something.
Oh, maybe. No, because at one point I was 4-0 losing, and it was still going.
There was also no numbers on my thing, so I didn't know.
Oh, then you definitely had a glitch.
No, probably.
my God.
Probably did, yeah.
Because I was like, there was no numbers to indicate like how I was doing.
Oh yeah, you definitely had a glitch. There definitely was a scoreboard and stuff, and saying who was surfing.
It took me so long to exit out. I was like, I think something's wrong.
Well, let's use that segue. Glitches. This game has a bunch,
Yeah.
which is really unfortunate. This game came out in August 2022, so it's been out for quite a bit of months. It's been on Game Pass, or
I
not
had
Game
to
Pass. It's been on
force quit a
Switch.
lot.
It launched on Switch. It just recently came to Game Pass.
Yeah, I had to exit out a lot,
Yup.
and because like my character would get stuck.
Yep.
The volleyball thing, obviously, mostly, and so Plague Tale. I don't think I posted it. I should have. Maybe I'll post it on what it was TikTok. Is that what we
Or
do?
whatever, or
Whatever it
Twitter.
is. So my character, I accidentally ran straight forward into a chest and I got stuck. Sometimes I do stupid things. I swear, this game though, I wasn't running into.
No,
chests or
I got a
anything.
bunch of glitches.
I was stuck so many times, and sometimes like if you get the ball out and you shoot, like you're fine. But a lot of times you're not. You're not fine.
I've got my
And
character
then-
stuck in walls.
But you know what? If you're gonna have a lot of bugs, you better have a better save feature. I understand the save was okay. Like I didn't lose more than like 2 minutes.
But in this game,
I
that's
shouldn't have
eternity.
lost 2 minutes if there's bugs.
Eternity in Soccer Story.
Oh,
Yeah.
I never had any point where I felt like I lost anything of any substance.
Oh, really, Keith?
Well,
Did you
no.
not just lose 6+ hours?
Well, yeah. Okay, so there's that. So, no, and again, I'll admit, there's plenty of glitches in this game. There are. And I
Tell everyone about yours, Keith.
which one? I mean, I could start you the list. I can't turn in the coconut guy. That quest, like, I don't know. What do I miss? A couple coins maybe or something, but I couldn't turn in that. Got stuck in a lot of walls. And yes, Andrew, I have a game-breaking glitch on the final mission that does not allow me to complete the game and very easily get the last game achievement of the game. So I have in fact lost 100 gamer scores that I should have that I can't get unless they ever fix this. Maybe they will. Probably they won't. There's no chapter select unless you beat the game. It's just I'm stuck, and yeah. So I'm unable to complete the game. Now, all am I sad about is the 100 gamer score. That's it. I was at the final thing. I'm not sad that I didn't get to see the characters jump up and down when I
It's
when
quite
I
exciting.
won.
It's a great
I missed the dialogue, all of these things. Like, yeah, it sucks. It's a 100 gamer score that I'll probably never get, but whatever. I still got 900. It was very easy 900, and it just kind of sucks.
But Andrew, you got 1,000. I got 240. I got 8 out of 20. I saw them popping up, but
Well, yes. So this is the one good positive thing, because there's still another segment we skipped over, and that's audio. We'll get into that after, though, because this is a good segue. The achievements. This is 100% great for achievement hunters if, the game doesn't break for you like it did for Keith. But as far as achievements go, it's just playing the game. You do not need to collect everything. You do not need to get max out all your teammates and stuff like that. No, it's essentially just doing the thing, which is great. So I highly recommend it for achievement hunters, because the gameplay, you're looking between 6 to 8 hours. It's not a very long game, thank God. But yeah, if you just put it on easy difficulty, so the soccer matches are quick, but you can't change the difficulty when it comes to the mini games, which is one of my frustrations, because some of the mini games, like I said, are actually pretty difficult, and I'm like, I can't progress until I beat this. So it would take me multiple tries. But luckily, you can just kind of breeze through it and get the achievements. And as Keith said, once you beat the game, you actually is a chapter select, because there are a couple missable achievements, a couple glitched for me, because it's annoying. You got to talk to a person, do the thing, and then talk to them again after. The achievement specifically wants you to do specific steps. So for me, I didn't get the tutorial one, because you have to talk to the drone, do the drone's task, talk to him again, and then I think talk to him a third time or something weird. But like I said, I just started over again and just did it because it was at the beginning. So it is, I highly recommend it for achievement hunters at least. But yes, the other thing we kind of skipped, the audio.
Was there one song for the whole game?
No, I'm pretty sure there's 3, but close.
Because I was listening to it at one point, because I just tuned it out, and I was like, wait, this has been going on the whole time.
Yeah, you got the open world. They're not bad soundtracks, I will say that. But like I said, I'm pretty sure there's just 3 songs. And I was, for 6 to 8 hours, I was checked out. I was kind of done. And then not only that, there is a voice actor. That's the announcer. And every time you side tackle someone, he either says, ooh, or...
That's nasty.
So thank God I don't have to hear that again, because I got so sick of hearing that.
That's nasty.
That's
I didn't hear
nasty.
that at all, but I also had the volume down a lot. So
That was a smart choice. But yeah, should we just start wrapping this up?
I mean,
yes.
I think you guys have complained enough.
So who wants to go first? All right. So Liz left her phone downstairs, so I guess I'll read this. There's one review on the Xbox Series X, and they gave it a 4. The fact that only 0.8% of players completed the fairly short game says it all. Avoid. He wrote more, but I think
that sums it up.
Kind of sums it up. And no, I think it's at 1.8% now. I think is actually so. Some people have finished it, including me. But yeah, Soccer Story currently has like I said, it's been on Switch for a while, so it currently has a 56 for critics on Switch. So yeah,
and that's well, maybe this is more telling than anything. But isn't that only 1.8% of people who have actually played it? Not
well, that's 0.8%. Yeah, so of all the people that have played it, only 0.8% of people have completed it.
Yeah, that's pretty telling. I'll admit.
I mean, but how much of the percentage was from bugs, though? Like Keith, you never know.
It's true. Hey, but Liz, since you're not doing Metacritic, why don't you go first?
Oh, jeez. I didn't know what to score this, to be honest, because...
I mean, I gave you a rough estimate of an
yeah, because
idea.
you're like, what would you rate, the gameplay
Yep.
and this, that. But the thing is that there is a lot in this game. I think that's why I might score a bit higher, because... there is stuff to do. It's not a good story, but there is a story.
A soccer story.
Graphically, it's not my favorite. I think it's it was. There were some elements that were like the palm trees or certain angles where it's it kind of did remind me of The Tourist, but the rest of it was just kind of it was pixel. And I don't know. I think I'm gonna give it a generous 63.
Wow.
Because is that low? Is that high? I don't know.
That's high for me.
I think for the reason why I'm giving it 63 is because I also feel like I'm being a bit more judgmental because, I know Keith doesn't like good games like Mass Effect and stuff, but it's I just came back from playing a Mass Effect game, and then you go from that to this, and it's really hard to get into it and to appreciate certain elements of it. So I also know that I'm just being a little bit too judgy and comparing and stuff. But there's so many pixelated games I have played that I put so many hours into.
Yeah.
So I also feel like, am I being harsh? You know. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna change it when I hear yours, Andrew. Because I don't want to be mean, but if they're like 40, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll put it down.
Do you want me to go next, Keith, or do you want to go?
I'll go whenever.
Keith, I want to hear. Why don't you go? Because I want to hear. I want to hear you.
I mean, Soccer Story for me, just having found a game that Andrew hates as much as he does, honestly feels like a win. I'm going to start with that as a baseline of I found something that Andrew truly hates, and that feels like a win in itself. But the thing is when it comes down to it, I said at the beginning, and I will say it now, I don't have a lot that I'm going to defend about it as far as like trying to say, no, this was good, this was so much fun, this is what you missed. You didn't miss anything, you just didn't like what the game had to offer, and that's totally fine. And I don't disagree with any of your complaints. The only difference is that I didn't mind it. I truly didn't mind my time with it. It had, and it was just what I said, a little bit ago, is the kind of relation to it being kind of a dumb flash game that for whatever stupid reason I could just sink my time into. And I don't know what it was about it, but I did. I didn't love it. I wasn't like itching to play it, but I could pick it up, and once I started playing, I just would zone out playing it a little bit.
See, hold on. I'm going to disagree because you said you weren't itching to play it. You were picking this over Deathloop. We were playing Deathloop, and you were like, "Oh, Soccer Story. Gotta collect acorns."
Yeah, I didn't. There was something about Deathloop, and it was almost. It's funny because I almost had the same argument. Like I felt like everything about Deathloop was a game I would like, and I just couldn't for some reason. And I don't think it was because of Soccer Story, but there is something about them that, yes, Soccer Story is a game that I probably shouldn't like, but for whatever reason, it grabbed my attention. Deathloop, for all intents and purposes, is a game I should like, and it didn't sink my attention, and I don't know what it is, but it is what it is, and
so weird.
I honestly don't know. And that's the thing. I don't have a high score for this game. It's a 72. I think it's passable. I think I played it. I didn't hate my time playing it. I've slightly recommended it to a few people. I'm like, yeah, I think it's sort of worth checking out, but if you don't like it, don't play it. Like, it's literally, I don't know, you know or not if you're gonna like it, and if you don't waste your time. You're not gonna miss anything.
All right, my turn here. I've played a lot of video games. I've played some awful video games that I've sunk a lot of time in, like Keith, and I'm still like, I know it wasn't a good game, but I still at least enjoyed my time. Specifically, there's one game, Two Worlds. It's this third-person action RPG. It was awful, but I played a lot of hours in it, and I thought it was actually a pretty enjoyable time, even though I knew it was bad. This is kind of why we came up with the Gamer Pass review at the beginning. You know it's a bad game, but you enjoyed it.
Good Life.
The Good Life. That's another good example. We know it wasn't a great game, but we had a lot of fun with it. This game I hated. I can't really remember the last time I just hated a game. I was so frustrated. I was like ready to throw my controller to Soccer Story. Like, I'll break it down here. The story I did not like. I found it so lazy on the writing. It wasn't like, oh, it's a means to an end kind of story. There was just so much inconsistency to it. I was just hitting A because everyone was essentially saying the same thing. Because every area you're going to was so copied and pasted. I'm like, I know what this guy's saying. Oh, we don't play soccer anymore. Don't bring the ball around. Okay, we'll play soccer now. Almost everyone. Just slight variation. The gameplay, I hated the soccer gameplay. The one-on-one was atrocious. It was 3 minutes. Like I said, I'm running around in a circle just to burn the clock. And I was playing on medium at first because if I lost, I was like, I have to do that again. I don't want to do this. Hated it so much. It just was frustrating. It just didn't change. The open world aspect was just, it felt like a chore the entire time. Kick over trash cans, collect acorns, collect coconuts, collect crabs, kick the ball at the sharks so they don't eat the children. I was just, I don't care. Like, I was so sick.
Don't care about the children. Perfect timing with that comment.
I was so sick of all these tasks. It was just so nonsensical. Like, I understand, like, you know, it's a video game, but it just, to me, this legitimately just felt like work. And then I get 1 coin. Cool. To upgrade my characters, that just didn't matter. I wish, like, if I could change my team, like, had some sort of soccer management of maybe getting new teammates, new uniforms, changing the position, some more soccer actual elements. I understand it's an arcade, but penalty kicks, like, those are fun. Like, that's a fun thing to do, especially if you're playing with friends. You know, one person's controlling the goalie, one person's kicking the ball, like, just one-on-one. Like, that would have been a fun one-on-one, not a open field one-on-one gameplay that they have in this. That's annoying. Like, there's little things in this game that I feel like they could have just fixed. And the bugs are crazy. I was clipping through walls. I was going through barriers. I was getting stuck. Thank God it didn't give me a game-breaking glitch like Keith did. But, the audio was just the same sucks. This game was like everything that just was grating on me. You know, so sick of it. This is a 40 at best.
That's nasty.
I honestly want to give it a lower, but the art style at least was kind of nice looking. It was kind of cool having a voxel background with sprite characters.
That might be your lowest score.
I was tempted to give it lower, but like I said, like, I at least played through it, and like the achievements at least gave it some extra points because it's great for achievement hunters. But yeah, I give this a 40. I'm sorry if there's a developer who's been listening to this episode. I don't mean to be mean, but this game just grated on me so much. I was so glad to be done with this. Ugh. But yeah, that's going to do it for us in this episode. This train wreck of an episode. So, yeah, Soccer Story. If you are interested to see what game I hate and Keith loves, check out
Stop
Soccer
saying
Story.
I love you. You have been saying I love this game all episode.
Keith, okay,
I
game that I hated, but somehow sucked Keith's time. I don't know how else would you describe it? Because you don't. You said you do love it, kind of, but like in a weird way.
I never said I loved it. Never once did I say I loved it.
I feel like you just want to defend it, but you don't have anything positive to say. You just want to defend the time that you spent on it. You're like, it's not really a good game, but I spent a lot of time on it. So I feel like, I mean, it's like I
mean, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is I recognize that I put a lot of time into it, and I did, but I didn't. I'm not like I wasn't like I don't know.
But anyway, I think that'll do it for this week. Please, if you have a game recommendation, please send it us our way so Keith doesn't pick any more games. You can email us at kpassgrabbing@gmail.com. We're at Twitter, Facebook, at GBGBpod. I've been your hardcore gamer host, Andrew. You can find me on Xbox Live, Firebird01952. Yeah. Passing off to Keith.
Oh, I was just going to take right over. I'm just going to go play some Soccer Story. That's all I'm going to do.
Are you... That's actually good. Are you going to pick this up again? What if they don't fix your glitch? Do you think you would pick this up just to beat it?
If they fix the glitch, then I would beat it. So yes, I would pick it up to beat it. But if they didn't fix the glitch, no, I'm not going to go back and just play it just to play.
You're not going to start over again?
No, I wouldn't. Okay. I wouldn't start it over. I wouldn't sink 6 hours of my time into anything for one achievement, unless it was. And it's funny because this is the last achievement to a game. But if it was like a last achievement to a game that it took 6 hours to do because it was a hard 6 hours to do and nobody does it because it's so hard to do, that's a different sink of 6 hours of time. Yeah. I'm not just replaying this game for 6 hours to do something that should have been possible now.
That's probably your best outro.
It was a great outro.
I'm Liz Noob, gamertag, CommonMD, and I'm on Twitter at Liz Noob, Noob is EW.
All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us. We love you all. We'll see you again next week.
Bye.